Why should a child who is an American citizen have to pack up and move to a country that they don't know?
For their parent obviously entered the country illegally, had a child knowing he was in the country illegally, so he created that crisis. Whenever someone gets arrested for a crime, they get booked into a jail, their child can't go with them. Just like if I got arrested tonight, my child couldn't go with me. So it's not about family separation.
Well, the interesting thing about your argument is that these people committed no crimes.
Imagine being torn from your family simply for seeking a better life. Is crossing the border really a crime? Freshly selected Border Czar, Tom Homan simplifies it for those who cannot grasp the concept.
You enter the United States illegally, it's a crime. It's 8 U.S.C., 8 United States Code 1325. It's a crime to enter the United States illegally.
Mr. Homan, sir, what type of policy do you envision that will help children who are fleeing harm's way with their parents usually or some significant person in their lives have the opportunity to be in a safe, secure, wholesome environment?
Well, first of all, if I can, your question about raising your hands, if you would have said if I support zero tolerance, I would have raised my hand. Not family separation, zero tolerance. You seem to confuse those two issues.
Okay, well, if you would, I'm going to ask that you kindly address my question, but since you raised zero tolerance, I'm not sure what you mean by zero tolerance. Are you saying zero tolerance, no one ever coming to the United States? Is that your zero tolerance policy?
The recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Homan,
family.
with all due respect,
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. No, you're referring to family separations that have happened under numerous presidents, not just this president.
So-
But zero tolerance, what you're referring to is family separations, zero tolerance that was put in place by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. It was zero tolerance to prosecute those who knowingly, intentionally violate our laws.
So,
Jeff Sessions' 2018 zero tolerance policy mandated criminal prosecution for all adults crossing the U.S.-Mexico border illegally, leading to family separations as children were placed in federal custody. While Sessions defended it as enforcing the law, critics condemned it as inhumane. Public backlash led to the policy's reversal in June 2018, though its impact remains a focal point in immigration debates.
and supporting that policy, you would support family separation then?
Whenever someone gets arrested for a crime, they get booked into a jail, their child can't go with them. Just like if I got arrested tonight, my child couldn't go with me. So it's not about family separation.
Well, the interesting thing about your argument is that these people committed no crimes.
You enter the United States illegally, it's a crime. It's 8 U.S.C., 8 United States Code 1325. It's a crime to enter the United States illegally.
It is not a crime, it's a civil offense.
No, sir, it is not. It's a violation of criminal code, Title 8, United States Code 1325, illegal entry in the United States. First offense is a misdemeanor, second offense, if you've been ordered, removed, and returned, is a felony.
I agree with that. I don't differ with you on that point. But you would then separate the children.
If you have no option, if someone's being prosecuted and getting sent to U.S. Marshal's custody or to the local jail, the child can't go with them.
Mr. Homans addresses and clarifies the widespread argument about family separation, highlighting that when individuals are arrested for crimes, it is standard legal practice that their children cannot accompany them. This clarification aims to dispel misconceptions and provide a better understanding of the legal process involved.
I think what we're seeing today could have been prevented if Congress was to close the loopholes we've asked them to close. I mean, we proved back in FY 14 and 15 when I worked for Secretary Jay Johnson, who I respect greatly, you know, he let us build family detention, to hold family units in the family residential center long enough to see a judge, and it took about 40, 45 days. And most of them, 90% lost their cases, and we sent them home. And the numbers went down. It worked. So we're asking Congress, look, we've already proved this worked under the Obama administration. How come we're not doing it now?
Tom Homan has shown his human side on numerous occasions, But the media often overlooks this, preferring instead to label him with colorful adjectives. He genuinely cares about the people he is accused of being racist toward, and the families critics claim he is destroying. Despite the criticism, Homan deeply understands the pain of family separations and advocates for a better system to support those who are truly in danger and fleeing harsh, life-threatening situations, all while remaining committed to his duty to enforce the law.
You know, so I think Congress needs to fix this loophole. Let us detain families. If they're really escaping fear and persecution and death, I don't see a problem in being in a family residential center with medical care, pediatricians, child psychologists on staff, 3 squares a day, 6 sets of new clothes, access to lawyers, access to families. These are open air campus facilities. If it saves a life, and that's what I've been testifying the last 4 times. This isn't just about securing our border. This isn't just about enforcing laws. It's about saving lives. It's about 31% of women being raped. If we close these loopholes, we're going to save women from being sexually assaulted. We're going to save children from dying, and we're going to stop bankrolling criminal cartels who are making millions of dollars a day because of the laziness of this country not to fix the loopholes.
Tom Homan makes a great point here, and wait to see how Mr. Guest closes.
So yeah, most do not leave. And that's another enticement. That's why more people keep coming, because families in Central America, even though they know most will lose their case, they're not going home.
And there's, as I understand from your report, an 800,000 case backlog in the immigration court. Is that correct?
It's now over 1 million. There's 800,000, but I went to the website last night and they're reporting 1 million.
Would you agree that these figures are staggering, Mr. Homan?
Absolutely. I mean, when I was the ICE director, the backlog was already near 600,000. So what's happened in the last 2 years? Yeah, it sounds right to me.
And you say on page 3 of your report, you say illegal crossings are down, consistent from the high in May, but we are still at high numbers beyond last year. And then this is the sentence I want to highlight. The significant gains made on this issue are because of our president and the men and women of CBP and ICE, and not because of anyone in this room. First of all, I want to apologize to you that Congress has failed the American people. And I'd ask for you to deliver a message, and please tell the men and women of CBP and the men and women of ICE that we appreciate their hard work and what they do, and that there are still members of Congress who want to solve this problem.
For the last 10 or so years, denial rates for those seeking asylum have remained unchanged. But the fact that illegal entrants are not sent back continues to encourage more to come. Mr. Homan makes a compelling case on this point, stressing the need for stricter enforcement to address the root of the issue while ensuring the system prioritizes legitimate asylum seekers.
The bottom line is the data of the immigration courts are clear that 87% of these people do not qualify or fail to show up. So if they know before they leave their homeland, spend their life savings making this dangerous journey, that the chance of getting approved because they know they're not escaping fear and persecution from the government because of race, religion, political beliefs, they'll stop coming. And enforcement of law has a meaningful effect. If you look at consequence of deterrence, it means something. And a couple of things I just want to add to this is, I've heard a lot of testimony here today, but I'm hearing today that people think the system's rigged against the immigrant now, but the approval rates and the denial rates have not changed from FY 14-15 to today. So if there's a fix put in, the denial rates back in 14 and 15 under our first family detention center were still about 87 to 90%. So the denial rate remains the same. So I don't see the correlation and there's this fix in. And as far as representation, does representation make it different? If you look at ERO data, the approval rate's anywhere from 10% to high to 20%, and representation rate has not changed beyond 20%, even though they're represented by attorney. And that's tracked in ERO data sheet. So representation really doesn't make a difference because they don't qualify, and the representation is not going to change the facts of the case. And this is all available on the immigration court database.
Tom Homan makes some further clarification in regards to fear screening program.
Are they able to say that, oh, I'm afraid to be in Mexico and have, get a hearing on that? I think my data says that, yes, they are. Fear screenings are established part of the program. And as of October 15, 2019, USCIS completed over 7,400 screenings to assess the fear of return to Mexico. So people that are in Mexico under this program can actually say, I'm afraid, and go in front of someone.
I interviews in the beginning when they enter the United States, if they cannot be returned to Mexico if they establish a clear danger to return to Mexico, that they'd be at, in harm's way. So that's in the front. They can't be sent back to Mexico without that interview occurring, that there is no fear to return to Mexico. That's on the front end of that.
All right.
And I want to add one thing.
Sure.
I do think there are some in Central America that qualify for asylum. So I'm not painting with a broad stroke saying it's all fraud, but based on the data and the findings of the judges across this country, 80%, 87% do not. There are certainly people who certainly do fear return to their homeland, but the problem is when you got 80% rate of denial and fraud, you're backing up the system for the people in this world that are really escaping fear and persecution from their homeland, such as some of the African nations and other nations around the world, who really do need our help. And the system is being, asylum claims are up over 2,000% in the last couple of years. It's troubling for the ones that really do need our help.
I hope you found some answers and value in this video. Do you see the rationale behind Tom Homan's approach? And do you think his stance on immigration enforcement strikes the right balance? It's a debate filled with complexities and consequences, but it's crucial we reflect on both the legal and human aspects. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.